That's the theme tonight. The system is broken. That means the two major parties are responsible for this fiasco.
Yeah, but if it's the two major parties, wouldn't that be the people of this country are responsible?
Not at all, because the representatives in our government are bought out by corporate America and lobbyists and big money. We don't own them. The citizens don't own them. We don't have any control or authority over them.
Sure
we
do.
vote and nothing changes.
Yeah, but aren't the stockholders the owners of these corporations?
So.
And the people and the unions and all the people out there who invest in these companies, aren't they responsible?
No say so.
Yeah, but the only people that benefit from these corporations are the investors and the senior officers. They inherit the wealth and the power. On the backs of the little guy.
Yeah,
And now even on the backs of the unions. The unions don't have the power and the clout they used to. We're losing our health care, we're losing our pensions, we're losing our jobs. You know, what's so beneficial about this?
Yeah, but aren't the unions invested in the 401ks, and all the employees out there who have 401ks invested in the stock market, which therefore are the corporate owners?
Anthony, 7% of the American workers are represented by collective bargaining. That's minuscule. The unions don't have the power. They don't represent a major block of America. They don't speak for the majority of Americans because they don't represent them. They should, but they don't.
Yeah, but that's true. But don't the unions pretty much vote Democrat all the time?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Isn't that the problem?
Well,
is because they
all
don't
right.
represent the other side.
That is true. You're right. They've become part of the establishment. They become interested in their self-interest. You know, they're just as guilty as the corporations many times. The Democrats are just as guilty as the Republicans. They're part of the establishment, the status quo, the system, and that's our theme. The system is broken. And,
okay, you're talking about the system, but what system do you recommend that's out there?
Well, I have a self-interest. I'm a socialist, okay? The economic system is broken. It's based on greed and exploitation. It does not benefit the worker or the owners.
Yeah, what place does the system in a socialist format actually work? Because all of Europe is pretty much crumbling. Their system is overloaded and bloated. And
well, they're not a true socialist system, okay? They're mostly capitalist. I mean, Denmark and Sweden maybe tend to be more socialist than the Germany and France, and they have better health care. They have better health care systems. They have more foreign aid to the fourth world countries than we do, proportionate, because they appreciate what egalitarianism and fairness is. We don't appreciate that in our economy.
Isn't the fact that the United States protects pretty much Europe and most of our money goes to protect a lot of Europe, so therefore they don't spend any resources in defending their nations?
Well, I mean, but that's corporate, that's capitalism, okay? I mean, money talks, money directs, and that's the problem. The corporations have the big money, and they're affecting our policies, our government policies to protect those interests. Oil, automobiles, you know, banks, finance industry.
Yeah, but I mean, if we were to drill, you know, 80% of U.S. resources when it comes to oil resources is not even being tapped. So everybody's complaining that the oil prices are high, gas prices are high, but no one wants to drill anywhere.
Well, first of all, we're too energy dependent on fossil fuel. All right, so we should get away from that anyway.
Yeah, but what would actually be a recommendation outside of fossil fuel that can actually run our energy?
Well, how about mass transportation? Okay, how about railroads?
Yeah, but
yes,
mass transportation has never worked because people do not work where the mass transportation actually goes.
Well, I think that we can do a better job. We can use energy resources, natural energy, wind, water, things of that nature. Ethanol, all of those are alternative fuel sources.
Yeah, but ethanol has becoming a problem in the third world because the cost of corn is becoming expensive, and those who live on maybe $1 a day, corn has become so expensive they can't afford to eat.
Well,
so,
you know, it's based on the philosophy that every person has to have 2 cars in his driveway. I mean, that's the problem, really. It's the auto industry that has dictated how America should run its life. You know, 200 years ago, we were a society based on horses, horse and buggies. And so I think that we need to return in some respects to a less pressured velocity-filled society.
Yeah, but so are you recommending we go back and start making horse
No,
buggies and
I'm
whips
just saying
and chains?
that, no, but we're putting too much emphasis on each family having 2 cars or 3 cars in the driveway. Each teenager at 16 should have a car. Building freeways and mass expressways and spending a lot of public money on these systems.
Yeah, but do you think that today's teenagers and these guys here want to give up their cars?
You know, it's the system. You know, it's all dependent on that.
The system is people want a car because that gives them the freedom to travel and maneuver around their society. So how can mass transportation cure that?
Well, you know, mass transportation. For example, we should have railroads transporting cargo more so than trucks on the highway.
So are you saying
it's economically more feasible, safer, and it will benefit our society.
Yeah, but are you saying that you'll be able to do eminent domain all over the state
I'm not
and
calling
everywhere?
for eminent domain.
Yeah, but how would the bus system and the train system actually be able to be implemented when they're going to have to lay track all over the place in order to make it work? Who's going to give up their property?
Oh, I think that's a minor issue. I think that.
You think it's a minor issue?
Yeah, I really do.
You cannot go nowhere. You cannot. If there's a frog somewhere, you know, people will come around like this and protest the hell out of a place. You think that mass transit can actually be built? It cannot be built.
Yes, I do.
You can't build an inch of road out there. It's hard.
You got a country of 300 million people. You got other countries around. Look at Japan. Their reliance on motor scooters and bicycles and small cars, and mass transportation and railroad systems and buses.
Yeah, but I don't think they have the protesters that we have here in the States.
This economy is based on corporate greed and capitalism and profit, and that's the problem. You know, it's power over people. It's profits over people, and we have to change that. We have to reverse that.
On a personal level, what are you doing in your life to lower your, let's say, carbon footprint? Are you doing like Al Gore, building 20-room mansions?
Well, I regretted having to drive to St. Petersburg tonight. I mean, this is the first time I've driven out of my rural town in about 3 weeks.
in an SUV, no doubt.
No, in a sedan, in a 36-mile-a-gallon sedan.
36 miles. What gets 36 miles? That's unheard of.
Mazda 6.
Very good. So
stick shift, standard shift, by the way. All right.
Yeah, but
and I ride my bicycle every day.
How are today's kids are going to learn how to use stick shift and to get better gas mileage?
Oh, come on. Let's go.
Let's gone away from stick shift.
They need to learn the basics.